The arrival of the alien student. Introduction to Zilara. On a distant planet named Verith, nestled among shimmering stars and swirling nebulae, lived a young alien named Zilara. She was a student at the prestigious Academy of Intergalactic Studies, where she excelled in her studies about various species across the universe. Verithians prided themselves on their intelligence and advanced technology, often boasting about their superiority over other races. Among these races, humans were frequently mentioned, but always with a tone of disdain. Zilara had grown up hearing tales from her teachers and parents about how humans were weak, fragile beings with brittle bones and slow minds. They were said to be incapable of competing with the might of the Verithians or any other advanced species in the galaxy. This narrative fueled her curiosity. She wanted to see for herself if these claims held any truth. The journey begins. When Zilara received an invitation to participate in an interspecies educational exchange program on Earth, she felt a mix of excitement and apprehension. The program aimed to foster understanding between different species through shared knowledge and experiences. As she boarded her spacecraft, she couldn't shake off the feeling that she was stepping into a world filled with mysteries yet to be uncovered. Upon landing at a bustling school in America, Zilara was greeted by a diverse group of students who seemed both curious and welcoming. They were not what she had expected. They looked vibrant, full of life, and exuded an energy that was infectious. As she stepped out of her ship, she felt a strange sensation in her chest, an unfamiliar blend of anticipation and fear. First impressions. The first day was overwhelming. The school was alive with laughter, chatter, and the sounds of sports being played on vast fields. Zilara watched as students engaged in various activities, running, jumping, and playing games that seemed both foreign and fascinating to her. She noticed how effortlessly they moved, how their bodies seemed to respond instinctively to challenges. In one corner of the field, a group was practicing for a track event. Zilara observed them closely. They sprinted with such speed that it left her breathless just watching. She had always been told that Verithians were superior athletes due to their enhanced physical capabilities, but here were humans defying every expectation she had held. The classroom experience. As classes began, Zilara found herself seated among human students who were eager to learn about her home planet. They asked questions about Verithian culture, technology, and even biology. In return, she shared stories filled with wonder about her world, its landscapes painted in hues of purple and gold, its skies illuminated by 3 suns. However, as discussions progressed towards physical capabilities, Zilara felt a pang of discomfort. How can they be so strong? She wondered silently as she listened to her classmates boast about their athletic achievements. It contradicted everything she had been taught back home. A shocking encounter. During lunch on her second day at school, Zilara sat with a group of students who were discussing an upcoming sports event, a relay race that would pit different classes against each other. One student casually mentioned how they had trained for weeks to prepare for it. "Are you going to join us?" one girl asked Zilara cheerfully. Zilara hesitated before responding. "I'm not sure if I can keep up," she replied cautiously. "Don't worry. You'll do great. We're all just having fun," another student chimed in. Despite their encouragement, doubt lingered in Zilara's mind. She had always been taught that humans were inferior. How could they possibly excel in physical feats? The first challenge approaches. As days turned into weeks, Zilara's curiosity grew alongside her apprehension. She decided to challenge herself by participating in the upcoming relay race despite her fears. Perhaps this would be an opportunity to prove, or disprove, the myths surrounding humans. As race day approached, Zilara trained alongside her classmates. To her astonishment, she found herself struggling to match their pace during practice sessions. They seemed tireless, running laps around her as if it were effortless while she gasped for breath after just a few laps. Zilara's confidence began to wane as race day drew nearer. Would she be able to compete against these so-called weak beings? Or would she confirm the prejudices held by her people? Conclusion. A new perspective. Standing at the starting line on race day felt surreal for Zilara. The atmosphere buzzed with excitement as students cheered for their classmates, while others prepared for their turn on the track. As she looked around at the smiling faces filled with determination, faces that challenged everything she had been taught. She realized something profound. Perhaps strength wasn't solely defined by physical prowess, but also by spirit and resilience. With this newfound perspective swirling in her mind like a tempestuous storm, Zilara took a deep breath as the whistle blew to start the race. Little did she know that this moment would mark the beginning of an incredible journey, a journey that would unravel truths about human strength that would forever change her understanding of what it meant to be strong. This sets up an engaging narrative while establishing key themes for exploration in subsequent parts of the story. The first challenge? The anticipation builds. As the sun rose on race day, Zilara felt a mix of excitement and dread swirling in her stomach. The atmosphere at the school was electric, with students buzzing about the upcoming relay race. Zilara had never participated in a competitive event before, and the thought of running alongside her human classmates filled her with both hope and fear. She had spent the past few days training, pushing herself to keep up with her peers, but the nagging doubt remained. Could she truly compete against these beings she had been taught to view as weak? Zilara arrived at the track early, wanting to absorb the energy of the event before it began. The field was lined with colorful banners, and students filled the stands, their cheers echoing in the crisp morning air. She watched as her classmates stretched and warmed up, their bodies moving with a grace that seemed almost effortless. It was mesmerizing, and for a moment, Zilara forgot about her anxiety. A friendly rivalry. As she stood there, a familiar face approached her. It was Mia, one of her classmates who had been particularly supportive since Zilara's arrival. "Hey, Zilara, are you ready for today?" Mia asked, her eyes sparkling with enthusiasm. "I'm trying to be," Zilara replied hesitantly. "What if I embarrass myself?" Mia laughed lightly. "You won't. Just remember, it's all about having fun and doing your best. Besides, we're all rooting for you." Her words were comforting, but Zilara couldn't shake off the feeling of inadequacy that lingered in her mind. She had trained hard, but still felt like an outsider among these athletes who seemed to thrive on competition. The race begins. As the time for the race drew closer, Zilara joined her teammates at the starting line. The relay format meant that each runner would take turns sprinting a designated distance before passing the baton to the next teammate. Zilara would be running third in their team lineup, a position that added to her nerves. The whistle blew, signaling the start of the race. The first runner took off with incredible speed, and Zilara watched in awe as they dashed down the track. Each runner was met with cheers from their classmates and friends, creating an atmosphere of camaraderie that made Zilara's heart swell. When it was finally time for her to run, Zilara felt a surge of adrenaline rush through her veins. She took off down the track, focusing on her breathing and trying to block out any doubts. As she ran, she felt a strange sensation. The ground beneath her feet seemed to pulse with energy, propelling her forward. The shock of human strength. To her surprise, Zilara found herself keeping pace with her human teammate ahead of her. But as she neared the halfway point of her leg of the race, she noticed something astonishing. The other runners were not just fast, they were incredibly strong as well. One by one, they passed their batons with precision and speed that left Zilara breathless. It was not just their speed that amazed her, it was their sheer determination and resilience. They were pushing themselves beyond what she thought possible for beings she had been led to believe were weak. As she approached the final stretch of her leg in the race, Zilara could see Mia waiting eagerly at the finish line to receive the baton from her. With every ounce of strength she could muster, Zilara surged forward, her legs pumping furiously as she crossed the line just in time to hand off the baton. A moment of triumph. Mia took off like a shot after receiving the baton from Zilara. The cheers from their classmates erupted into a frenzy as they'd watched Mia sprint toward victory. In that moment, Zilara felt an overwhelming sense of pride wash over her. She had contributed to their team's effort. As they crossed the finish line together, Mia leading them to victory, Zilara's heart raced not just from exertion, but from exhilaration. They had won. The realization hit her like a wave. Perhaps these humans were not so weak after all. Reflections on strength. After the race concluded and celebrations erupted around them, Zilara found herself reflecting on what she had witnessed that day. Humans were not merely fragile beings. They possessed an inner strength that transcended physical capabilities. Their determination to push through challenges inspired something deep within her, a desire to understand more about this species that had so long been underestimated. Later that evening, as students gathered for a celebratory dinner in honor of their victory, Zilara sat among them feeling more connected than ever before. They shared stories about their training routines and personal challenges faced during races or competitions, each tale revealing layers of resilience and strength that left Zilara in awe. A new friendship. As dinner progressed, Mia leaned over and whispered to Zilara excitedly, "I can't believe you kept up with us. You're going to be an amazing athlete." Zilara smiled shyly but felt warmth spread through her chest at Mia's words. "Thank you. I didn't expect to do so well," she admitted. "You should join us for more practices. We can help each other improve," Mia suggested enthusiastically. Zilara nodded eagerly at this idea. It felt like an invitation into a world where competition was not just about winning, but about supporting one another through challenges. A stark contrast from what she had known back home. Embracing challenges ahead. As weeks turned into months at school on Earth, Zilara continued training alongside Mia and other classmates who welcomed her into their circle without hesitation or judgment. With each practice session came new revelations about human strength, not just physical but emotional resilience too. Zilara began pushing herself harder than ever before, not only in sports but academically as well, determined to learn everything she could about this fascinating species while challenging herself beyond limits previously thought impossible. The journey ahead promised many challenges, yet also offered opportunities for growth unlike any she had ever experienced before. A chance not only to redefine what strength meant, but also forge lasting friendships along the way. Little did Zilara know that this newfound understanding would soon lead her down paths filled with unexpected trials, each revealing deeper truths about humanity's spirit beyond mere physicality, and ultimately challenge everything she thought she knew about herself too. This second part continues Zilara's journey while emphasizing themes of strength and friendship as she begins to embrace new experiences on Earth. Unveiling the truth, a new perspective on strength. As Zilara settled into her new life on Earth, she found herself increasingly fascinated by the human experience. The relay race had been a turning point for her, shattering her preconceived notions about human strength and resilience. However, she knew that this was just the beginning of her journey to understand what it truly meant to be strong. In the weeks that followed, Zilara immersed herself in her studies, eager to learn more about human history, culture, and biology. She spent hours in the school library, poring over books and articles that detailed humanity's triumphs and struggles. The more she read, the more she realized how complex and multifaceted humans were, far from the weak beings she had been led to believe they were. The power of history. One day, while researching in the library, Zilara stumbled upon a book titled The Resilience of Humanity, a history of triumphs and tribulations. Intrigued, she began to read about significant events in human history, wars fought for freedom, civil rights movements that challenged oppression, and scientific breakthroughs that changed the world. Each story revealed a common thread, the indomitable spirit of humanity. Zilara learned about the struggles faced during World War II, where humans banded together against tyranny and oppression. The stories of bravery and sacrifice inspired her deeply. She marveled at how humans could endure unimaginable hardships and still rise again, stronger than before. It was a stark contrast to the narrative she had grown up with on Vireth. Conversations with classmates. Encouraged by her discoveries, Zilara began engaging her classmates in conversations about their own experiences. She wanted to understand their perspectives on strength and resilience. One afternoon during lunch, she sat down with Mia and a few other students. "Have you ever faced a challenge that made you feel weak?" Zilara asked curiously. Mia paused thoughtfully before responding. "Of course. We all have moments when we feel like giving up, but it's how we respond to those moments that defines us." Another student chimed in, "Yeah, I struggled with anxiety before my big track meet last year. I thought I wouldn't be able to compete, but I pushed through it, and it was one of my best races." Zilara listened intently as they shared their stories. It became clear to her that strength was not merely physical. It encompassed mental and emotional resilience as well. The anatomy of strength. Driven by her desire to understand human strength further, Zilara decided to delve into human biology. She learned about muscles, bones, and how the human body adapts to various challenges. Through her studies, she discovered that humans possess an incredible ability to recover from injuries and adapt to strenuous activities. One particular fact struck her. Humans have a remarkable capacity for endurance. They could run long distances and push through pain barriers that would incapacitate many other species. This revelation was both enlightening and humbling for Zilara. It highlighted a unique aspect of humanity that went beyond mere physicality. A cultural festival. As part of their cultural exchange program, Zilara's school organized a cultural festival where students could showcase their talents from different backgrounds. Excitement buzzed through the hallways as students prepared performances ranging from dance routines to art exhibitions. Zilara decided to participate by sharing a traditional Virethian dance, a powerful expression of unity and strength from her culture. She practiced diligently with Mia's help, who encouraged her every step of the way. On the day of the festival, Zilara felt a mix of nerves and anticipation as she took the stage. The audience was filled with familiar faces, her classmates who had become friends over the past few months. As she began to dance, Zilara poured her heart into every movement, channeling the strength she had come to admire in humanity. Bridging cultures. After her performance, Zilara received thunderous applause from the audience. It was a moment of connection, bridging two cultures through art and expression. As she stepped off stage, Mia rushed over with a huge smile on her face. "You were amazing," Mia exclaimed, wrapping Zilara in a warm hug. "Thank you. I couldn't have done it without your support," Zilara replied gratefully. The festival continued with various performances showcasing human talents, singing, dancing, poetry readings, all celebrating individuality while highlighting shared experiences of struggle and triumph. Zilara felt an overwhelming sense of belonging as she watched her classmates shine on stage. Each act told a story of resilience that resonated deeply within her heart. A moment of reflection. Later that evening, as Zilara sat alone under a tree on campus reflecting on the day's events, she realized how much she had grown since arriving on Earth. The misconceptions she once held about humans were fading away like shadows at dawn. She thought back to her home planet's teachings, how they viewed humans as inferior beings unworthy of respect or admiration. Yet here she was, surrounded by individuals who embodied strength in ways she never imagined possible. In that moment of clarity, Zilara made a silent vow. She would share what she had learned with others back home, about the true nature of humanity's strength and resilience. The challenge ahead. As days turned into weeks again at school, Zilara continued participating in various activities alongside her friends while deepening her understanding of human culture. However, an upcoming event loomed on the horizon, a sports competition where students from different schools would compete against each other. Zilara felt both excitement and apprehension as rumors circulated about how fierce the competition would be this year, especially among athletes who had trained tirelessly for months leading up to it. "Are you going to compete?" Mia asked one afternoon while they practiced together. "I'm considering it," Zilara replied hesitantly. "But what if I'm not good enough?" Mia smiled reassuringly. "It's not just about winning. It's about pushing yourself beyond your limits. Remember what we talked about. Strength comes in many forms." Zilara nodded slowly. Conclusion. Embracing humanity. As the day of the competition approached, Zilara felt an exhilarating mix of anticipation and determination brewing within her soul. She recognized that this was more than just an athletic event. It was an opportunity for growth, a chance to embrace everything she had learned about humanity thus far. With newfound confidence fueled by friendship and understanding surrounding her journey on Earth, Zilara stepped forward into this next chapter, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. Little did she know that this competition would not only test her physical limits, but also challenge everything she thought she knew about herself, and ultimately reveal profound truths about strength that transcended species boundaries altogether. This third part delves deeper into Zilara's exploration of human strength through history, culture, and personal experiences, while setting up for future challenges ahead in her journey on Earth.